Hey, what's up guys, it's Bakes here, and thank you for joining me for this episode of my tracklist ranking. Today's EP, I almost said album, but today's EP is from 2015 by the band With Confidence, and it is titled Distance. So obviously today's tracklist ranking is going to be a little bit different in the way that it's going to be a lot shorter because we only have 5 songs to go through in this tracklist ranking. But first of all, if you want to hear my complete thoughts on this EP, go check out my random album review of it as well, which should be up at the same time. But I'm sure you guys know the gist of this series by now. In my tracklist rankings, I will rank from my least favourite song to favourite song on an album. And like I said, today's example is this EP titled Distance by With Confidence. Like I said, only 5 songs to go through. So it's going to be a quicker episode today, so we might as well get it underway, starting off with my number 5. Coming in at my number 5 is the second track on the EP titled Drive. This song has good energy and it's got a good pace about it, and I could imagine this one actually being one of the more digestible just for a passing listener, but also in the same breath, this is probably the most forgettable song on the EP for me, as it's not bad by any means, but there's just nothing overall that has me drawn in or grabs my attention really. Reflecting on the couple of songs that I have coming up, it does pale in comparison and does lack a level of songwriting compared to some, but it doesn't really do much in terms of trying anything different either, changing up the structure or just anything like that. This one to me is just sort of a passable song, as I said, kind of forgettable. Like I said, it's got good energy, and when you're sitting there it's kind of fun and whatever, but also, I don't know, there needs to be one that needs to come last, and as I said, this is easily the most forgettable for me. So coming in at my number 5 spot is the track Drive. The EP closes with a more simplistic effort to wrap it all up, being my number 4, Godzilla. And I actually don't mind this song, even though it's coming in second last for this ranking of the EP. It starts off slow yet catchy with this basic strumming structure, and it does eventually build into something more as the song goes on. Though there's not much to really break down with its instrumentals, as it's all pretty simple. The highlight to me anyways is the lyrics and the songwriting for this one. The song actually reminds me of and, gives off elements of the song Jellyfish by the band Slowly Slowly, if you're aware of that song, which again is more impactful with its songwriting rather than its instrumentals, but still remains fairly catchy overall. And obviously Jellyfish is definitely the more recognizable and better song, going up against Godzilla, but there are similarities to me. But getting back to Godzilla, its slow build isn't something that, really is my taste all of the time, regardless of how good the songwriting is. And it's not one that I come back to in any haste, but it's also fine, it's catchy, it's passable. So my number 4 goes to the closing track, Godzilla. It was pretty tight picking between this and my number 4 spot, but coming in at my number 3, I got to go with London Lights. Compared to Godzilla, which came beforehand, it's not as memorable with its writing, and that's not me saying that it's a poor song lyrically or anything, but there isn't really much grabbing me here either. But I do enjoy the rhythm and structure of this song, which does give it that slight edge over Godzilla. But revisiting this song for the ranking, I definitely felt the blueprints of some of the songs off the band's debut album which followed this EP, songs like Keys and Gravity for example, but also some of the kinks that were here were still yet to be figured out, but you can see what they were trying to do. The bridge and final verse do also add a bit of flair by flipping the script and picking up the pace, and also getting a little bit gritty with the vocals, which I really enjoyed. It's probably my favourite part of the song, but not enough to save it too much and move it any higher on this ranking. But I do like the song overall. It's nothing that's gripping me with the writing department or, something that really sucks me back in, but overall a passable song and definitely better than the previously mentioned two. So coming in at my number 3 is London Lights. Take me away. To the opening track on the EP, coming in at my number 2 is Take Me Away. As a bass player myself, I love the chugging bass through the verses here, with the song carrying a fairly consistent, gritty vocal performance the whole way through as well. Now again, the song overall is fairly simple. The chorus in particular is actually quite simple as well, but I do enjoy the energy pleading that line, take me away. It's just one of the more catchier choruses on this EP to me at least. Like I said, simple enough song with nothing too flashy, but the rough vocals giving it that extra little bit of grit, the chugging bass, and then the addictive chorus is enough to give it an edge. Like I said, one of the more likeable songs off of this EP, so coming in at my number 2, I gotta go with Take Me Away. And coming in at my number 1 is the track I Will Never Wait. The opening guitar is probably the most impressive and identifiable off this EP, which stands out when the song opens. But then it hits pace with the song's verses, with patches of some gritty vocals that also add in a little bit of flair. I really love the choice to mellow out leading up to the pre-chorus and hit with one of the catchiest choruses off the EP, which again is really addictive and easy to belt along to. And by this point, the song was confidently a favourite of mine off this EP, but then it comes into that bridge, which I just really love what they did there. The whole band kicks in and builds up this menacing build-up that is also really punchy and really cool, and eventually takes the song out. Reminds me of some of the things that the band did off their first album, with songs like Gravity and in particular Dinner Bell, which has always been a favourite of mine off that debut album, which is probably a reflection of why I enjoy this song so much. But coming in at my number 1, I gotta go with the track I Will Never Wait. So there we go, guys, already the whole way through Tracklist ranking that EP. Like I said, I knew it wasn't going to take very long, only 5 songs, but if you're aware of this EP, let me know some of your favourites in the comments below. I did say in my random album review of the EP that I don't think any of the band's, best hits are off this EP, but, a lot of songs that are passable and still pretty decent, so I'd like to hear some of your favourites if you're aware of the EP, or maybe just some of your favourite songs from With Confidence in general, of any of their 3 full-length albums as well. But thank you for joining me for this Tracklist ranking, guys. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you for another video soon. Peace.